Hey, howdy, hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, it is time to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6, Episode 8. It is the Snatch Game of Love, of course. So, for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Snatch Game and giving you my thoughts and my opinions on this episode. So, if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below what you thought about this episode, and hit that subscribe button. Come join the Amateur Hour community. And without any further ado, let's get this video started. Alright. So, obviously, today's episode was the Snatch Game of Love. So I'm going to go ahead and get things started and give you my thoughts and opinions on this episode. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to be scooting over here. You know the drill. And we are going to be talking about this Snatch Game. Obviously, this episode starts out with the queens walking back into the workroom after Jan's elimination. And, of course, they're going through the lipsticks, talking about who voted for Pandora, why they voted for Pandora, and all the above. Obviously, the queens who voted for Pandora were Ginger Minj and Eureka, and they both gave their reasons, and Pandora didn't necessarily accept those reasons, but also wasn't terribly upset, I don't think, at least. Again, between Ginger and Jan, I personally would have voted for Jan, because obviously it was Jan's third time in the bottom, whereas Pandora had been safe and pretty steadily going through in the competition, pretty safe, doing pretty well overall, and her first time, obviously. So I personally would have voted for Jan, and I honestly was surprised that the vote was so close, but at the same time it did make for some great TV, so like, I'm not complaining. Anyways, so they're talking about the votes, and obviously Pandora was a little bit taken back by the queens who did vote for her, and all the above. But honestly, that was about all that happened when the queens came back in, and I don't really have too much else to talk about from that part. So we're gonna just jump on ahead to this next day, where the queens walk back into the workroom, find Jan's mirror message, read it, wipe it off, do all the things, talk about Jan. Obviously Jan has her not this moment again. Yeah, that happens. I don't know. Jan's gone. That's basically what we're gonna say about that. Anyways, then they all gather around the table, talk about how far they are in the competition, obviously. Because when this season started, there were 13 queens, obviously. And now there are only 6, so the table's feeling a lot more roomy. And they're talking about who they think is going to ultimately make it to the end. And yeah, that happens. Kylie's talking about how she's going to make it to the end. And then they're all like, oh, you mean from home, right? And then talking about her dog or whatever. And then that happens. I don't know. Then, of course, we get to see RuPaul. RuPaul comes out and introduces the Maxi Challenge, which of course is going to be the Snatch Game of Love. This Snatch Game was really, really good. I enjoyed it overall. And yeah, we're gonna get on into it. Obviously, first we get a few introductions to which queen is playing what character, all the above. At first, obviously, we find out about, we find out about Eureka, who's playing, of course, Divine. We find out that Trinity is playing Whitney Houston, and of course Pandora is playing what's her name? Kim Cattrall. That's who Pandora is playing. And then of course RuPaul walks out and does her walkthrough with all the queens, and we find out who the rest of the queens are playing. We find out, of course, that Ginger Minj is going to be Phyllis Diller. We find out that Kylie is going to be Dolly Parton, and of course we find out that Raja is going to be, and then of course we have Raja playing LaToya Jackson. So all the queens do their walkthrough. They're talking to her about volleying jokes back and forth. Obviously Trinity K. Bonet is a little bit nervous because this isn't her strong suit, and then of course Kylie is nervous because she got eliminated on her Snatch Game from season 2, and then of course we have Raja, who's somewhat nervous, but I think is feeling a little bit more comfortable about it. But then again, RuPaul is good friends with LaToya and apparently has been good friends with her for a long time. So Raja is feeling the pressure about it a little bit more than she had initially anticipated. Anyways, I do want to talk a little bit about this with Snatch Game and how you kind of need to do this. A big part of Snatch Game is volleying back and forth with RuPaul. Ultimately, you need to be able to respond back to her and make jokes and make RuPaul laugh. Ultimately, I think that's the most important part. And I think some of the queens definitely were getting into their head a little bit too much about this. So we're going to go ahead and get on into the Snatch Game, and I'll give you my opinions on all of the characters and how I think it all went. Obviously, we get the first group with the special guest being Cheyenne Jackson. Love getting to see Cheyenne Jackson on TV. Such an attractive man. So attractive. Anyways, then we get the first three, which of course are going to be Ginger Minj as, first we got Ginger Minj, Trinity, and of course Kylie. In this group, I'm going to go and give you my overall thoughts and opinions. Obviously, Ginger killed it. Ginger, I think, was honestly the best Snatch Game of them all. I think Ginger's Phyllis Diller was amazing, and I really, really enjoyed it. She made jokes. She volleyed back and forth with Ru. She even interacted with the other characters. And overall, I think Ginger is just an amazing improver. And I think she's able to take the challenge and really make it her own. And do the best that she can with it. So Ginger killed it. Then, of course, we get TKB as Whitney Houston. Alright, I think Whitney might not be the best character for someone to do for Snatch Game. I mean, remember Monet Exchange doing Whitney in All-Stars 4. It wasn't great. Obviously, we had Trinity doing Whitney in this All-Stars. Not that great. I feel like it's kind of difficult to make jokes with Whitney. It could be, at least. Again, I'm not an expert on Whitney Houston by any means. But I can see from the perception of a reality TV show, it might be a bit more difficult to make jokes on it for that, if that makes sense. I don't know. Trinity struggled a lot, I will say. Trinity definitely struggled. Then, of course, we get Kylie as Dolly Parton. Overall, I thought Kylie was okay. I will say she wasn't my favorite. I thought she was funny. She had her funny moments, but also a lot of the times I feel like I could still see Kylie in her character, and I feel like she didn't necessarily fully commit to it. Maybe that's just me. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. I don't know. Kylie did fine. I think she was definitely a higher up queen in the group for sure, but I think Ginger really made it her own and really just killed it overall. Then we get to the next group, of course, with the guest being Fortune Feimster. Yes, Fortune Feimster. Anyways, and then we get the three characters. Obviously, we get Divine, Eureka as Divine. I thought Eureka overall did pretty well. Some of her jokes definitely didn't land as well as she might have wanted them to. Divine is a big character, ultimately. Like, that's just the reality of it. Divine is a larger-than-life character. So I think it worked well for Eureka with such a big personality, to pick that character, and I think she did a really great job being Divine. So I enjoyed Eureka's Divine. I thought it was pretty divine. Anyways, Eureka I think did really well. Then of course we get, Pandora Box as Kim Cattrall. It was kind of flat. I don't know. Again, maybe that was the narrative they were trying to paint for the show. I don't know. Maybe they edited out parts that we didn't get to see. I don't know. But for Pandora, I think she had so much to live up to with her Carol Channing, obviously from her original Snatch Game. So I feel like she kind of got in her head about it, like according to the story they're painting on the screen at least. Some of her jokes weren't landing. They weren't as funny as they needed to be, and it was definitely a bit of a letdown from Pandora. Then, of course, we get Raja as LaToya. I really enjoyed Raja as LaToya. Honestly, I think out of this group, Raja might have been my favorite. I just thought she was funny. She made Ru laugh. And I think she really took Ru's notes and really used them to her advantage. I will say, she did kind of do the same format for a joke over and over. But I think it worked because RuPaul gave her that format, and she kind of helped her along that way, and I think that helped Raja a lot in the long run. So I think Raja did really, really well. I thought Raja was great. Yeah, Raja was honestly probably my favorite in that group. So, that's my own opinion on that. In the end, obviously for Group 1, the winner is going to be Ginger Minj. So congrats to Ginger for winning your Snatch Game group. And then for the second group, there's no winner. Because apparently, I don't know, Fortune Feimster didn't want any of them. Then we get to see Cheyenne Jackson again. The ending was a bit weird. I will say overall, I like the Snatch Game. But I think I still prefer the original Snatch Game. And I wish we got the original Snatch Game instead of the Snatch Game of Love thing. Because I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm being honest with you guys. I feel like it's just not the best. And I miss the old Snatch Game for All Stars. Like, I think that could have been better. My own opinion on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Yeah. Now we get to the Elimination Day where the queens are all getting ready. Trinity's definitely nervous, but again, Trinity came into the challenge knowing she wasn't going to be the strongest, so she's feeling a little bit nervous about it. Then, of course, we get that moment with Kylie and Ginger, where they're talking about how well they both did and how they're both feeling really good about it and they had fun with it. Ultimately, which I thought was nice to see, especially for Kylie, who struggled her first time doing Snatch Game, of course. And then, of course, we get Pandora being a little bit nervous. Eureka is feeling a little bit like Pandora's targeting her about it. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Honestly, that's about all we get. I'm going to go and get to this runway. First, let's talk about RuPaul's look. Obviously, RuPaul looks stunning. I will say it is a very classic RuPaul silhouette. I liked her dress a lot more last week than this week. But it's not bad. I like her outfit. I think she looks great. I'm not going to knock it, you know, I can't. Then, of course, we got our guest judge this week, which, of course, is Tina Knowles. I love getting to see Tina Knowles on this episode. I thought that was an amazing guest judge. She was an amazing guest judge. And, yeah, that was really fun. And, of course, we get we get Michelle. And then, of course, we get Carson. So, that happens. Let's go ahead and go through these runways. Obviously, the runway theme was pop art. I'm going to go ahead and go through these for you guys and give you my thoughts and opinions. A lot of them decided to do a very similar concept. Let's put it that way. First, of course, we get Ginger Minj doing the concept, and I thought Ginger executed it pretty well. I think she looked pretty good. I don't know about the dress cut. I understand that was like the mod 60s look, like you're trying to get that cut. I get it. I thought she looked good. I think it was a successful look, just not necessarily the strongest. I don't know. Excuse me. Then, of course, we get, who else did it? Eureka did the same look. Basically, the exact same look. I don't know about this wig for Eureka. I liked it more from the side, but from the front, it looked like it was way too far back for me. I don't know what that was. It might have been just, like she was saying later, a really heavy wig, so that might have been the issue. I don't know. Then, of course, we get Pandora, who also kind of did a similar look. Three of them basically did a very similar look. I think Pandora's was fine. It was kind of a bit simpler compared to some of the other looks we got to see, so it wasn't my favorite, I will say. Then, of course, we get Kylie. Kylie looked really good. I loved her face. I loved the back of the dress. I really enjoyed Kylie's look. Then, of course, I'm going to talk about Raja's look. I will say Raja O'Hara's look, for me this week, for the concept, was probably my least favorite look. For the concept. But she still looks stunning, so I'm not going to knock it. I think she looked really, really great. She just didn't necessarily fill the week's concept as well as some of the other queens. So for me, it's probably one of the weaker looks, if I'm being honest with you guys. Then, of course, I'm going to save my favorite for last. Trinity K. Bonet. I love when you bring a political statement on the runway. I love when people do that. I think that's really strong and really important to do. And I think she looks stunning. I love this message, and I love the outfit. Yeah, she looks great. She even incorporated the pop art into her makeup, which I really enjoyed. Because I don't necessarily think any of the other queens did as well as Trinity. So, for looks-wise, Trinity had my favorite look overall. Again, these are all my own opinions. I'll come back tomorrow and do a more in-depth Saturday, and do a more in-depth fashion review, so definitely make sure to tune in for that. But overall, I think Trinity, as of right now, had my favorite look. Now we're going to get to judging. Obviously, in the end, the winner this week is going to be Ginger Minj. So congratulations to Ginger Minj. Very, very, very well deserved. And the bottom two this week is going to be Pandora Boxx and Trinity K. Bonet. With the narrative this episode was painting, I could definitely see the writing on the wall. It made sense with the story they're trying to paint. I get it. I understand what they're going for here. Yeah, I don't know. Trinity was the front runner going into this episode, so I'm a little bit nervous for Trinity now. But, I get why Pandora's put in the bottom. I get it. Yeah, I don't know. The queens go back now and deliberate. They have conversations. Honestly, I just want to get to the lip sync assassin and the lip sync. Obviously, Ginger changes her look. I'm going to put a picture over here of Ginger's lip sync look. I thought she looked really good. I love the big wig. Then, of course, we get the lip sync assassin this week, which, of course, is our soft and supple, highly favored queen, Heidi in Closet. I love Heidi. I love getting to see Heidi any opportunity I can on the TV. I actually saw Heidi at my, when I was in college. She came to my school and performed before she was actually on Drag Race. So I'll always have a special place in my heart for Heidi in Closet. I'm going to put a picture over there of that. Like, I love Heidi. Heidi's one of my favorite queens from the franchise. So I love that we got to see her again. I love Heidi. Yeah, the lip sync happens, to Sugar Walls. Overall, I think it was a good lip sync. I do agree in the end with, Ginger winning. But I think a big part of it was when Heidi's ball and her wig fell off. Unfortunately, I think that wasn't planned. But I think she looked good. I think they both did a pretty good job. I will say it wasn't the most exciting lip sync, but maybe it was the song. I don't know. Ginger did really well. Ginger did the same thing she did for Where the Hell My Phone. So I think it worked. Again, she knows her sense of humor, her style of drag. She knows it really well. So of course she's going to bring it. Heidi did a great job too. But obviously in the end, like I said, Ginger did win, which means Heidi left. Again, I love Heidi. So hopefully we'll see her on an All-Stars. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I love Heidi. Anyways. In the end, obviously, Ginger won, like I said, so Ginger reveals her lipstick, and ultimately, in the end, Ginger decided to eliminate Pandora Boxx. This elimination made sense. I personally wouldn't have voted off Trinity. I agree with Pandora of the two being the one eliminated. I'm sad to see Pandora go, but I definitely think it was getting to be her time to go. We obviously now are at a top 5. We are almost done with this episode, and we still don't know what the game within the game is. And I'm getting frustrated. But hopefully we will find out soon. That does bring me to the end of my review. Let me know what you thought about this episode down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I would love to kiki in the comments with you guys. Like this video if you liked it. Share it all over social media. And hit that subscribe button. Come join the Samature Hour community. And also make sure to follow me on my other social media platforms, which include Twitter at Samature Hour, Instagram at Samature Hour, and TikTok at Samature Hour. Yes, I am also on TikTok, so you can follow me there as well. And yeah, that does bring me to the end of my video. I will be back here tomorrow with my Drag Race Holland review. I'm super excited for Drag Race Holland. Again, like I said earlier this week, Drag Race Holland was my first season I ever reviewed on my channel, so I'm super excited for season 2. Anyways, now that does bring me to the end of my video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye, guys!